I'm Jay Kuper with Kuper Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm proud to present three of our finest producers at our firm, representing some of the best of Texas real estate. And they're going to be here today just to share some of their wisdom about the markets they serve and be a great resource for you. So first, I'm going to start with Robert Dolnig. Robert Dolnig is in really all of Texas and the #1 real estate agent according to the San Antonio Business Journal for farm and ranch sales across the state. And he'll be giving us some great insight about that farm and ranch market and how to buy and sell real estate when you've got big property to consider. Kumara Wilcoxon is a #1 agent in Austin for all of Austin residential real estate, specializes in not only the core of Austin, waterfront property, but also condo sales, and has set records on all three of those areas. And last but not least is Ben Constantinoglu, #1 agent according to the San Antonio Business Journal for residential sales, even though BenCon also sells anything and everything that has to do with the core of San Antonio, but also the periphery. So we are lucky to have them here today to talk about their experience over the last year in real estate, but also what's coming up maybe for 2022. So I'm gonna start with Robert. Robert, again, farm and ranch sales specialist, really has made a name for himself over almost the last 20 years selling ranch property. Robert, if you don't mind, just tell us about your experience maybe over the last year of what the market's been like.
As Jay mentioned, I've been selling land in Texas for 23 years, really across the whole state, with mainly focusing probably South Texas, Hill Country, Central Texas, and West Texas. This past year has been by far the craziest year we've ever seen. It's been our highest in terms of sales volume, transactions, large sales, you name it. We've seen so many unprecedented things in 21. We thought 20 was that year, and then we did more in 21. So many different reasons why. So many people moving outside of Texas into Texas. The Eagle Ford oil shale, one of the largest in our country. A lot of those people have benefited big from that and are buying land. That's what they know. Most of what we sell are recreational ranches. Hunting, South Texas is renowned for some of the best hunting in our country. West Texas, mule deer hunting, has such mystique to it. The Hill Country, live water properties are really in high demand and are driving the market there. Farms are also in high demand. So this year, Jay, it was just everything in all areas was selling.
That's fantastic. Anything you can think of just to share about the difficulties of trying to buy right now? I mean, I know lots of people are after property and they want all the things you've just described, whether it's lifestyle or they're doing hunting and fishing and outdoors. The inventory, I think, has been pretty thin. I mean, what's been your experience with inventory and trying to get people into buying some of these properties?
Exactly right. Inventory has been very low, especially the last 5 months. Really, COVID started a buying frenzy like I've never seen. Especially in the 3 million and down pool. Those were coming off the shelves at a super fast rate. It's continued all the way into about June of 21. And in the last 5 months, we're kind of, all that happened the year and a half prior, we're feeling that now. Our transactions are down about 50%. There's nothing to buy. If you want live water near Austin, you've got 5 choices. If you want 10,000 acres, hunting ranch in South Texas, you've got 8 choices. There's just no inventory at all. So, for buyers the last few years, if you're not going to compete, then you probably shouldn't buy right now. It's been a very competitive market, many multiple offer situations. If you're a seller, it's been great. My advice to sellers is, we've seen record-setting prices in all the different regions in our state. And so be a part of those records that are being broken. Don't try to break those records. A lot of sellers now are saying, well, okay, these prices have been record breaking. Well, I want to break that record. My advice is, we don't know where it's going. We know things are a little bit slower. So price it to be a part of the record breaking, not try to exceed what we've seen the last year and a half.
Perfect, that's awesome. All right, Kumar, I'm going to go to you. So Austin has made it more than a name for itself over the last 5 years. It's really an international city. It's taken Texas and put it on the map from just being a place where cowboys ride horses to major metropolitan area with international experience like Formula One, South by Southwest. Kumar has led the field in really dominating how real estate transactions are done, and the market gets tighter and tighter. So tell us what it's been like over the last year or even two, and what you're seeing in Austin in general.
So as Jay mentioned, Austin is now a major market. We're on the map. We are one of the hottest places to live in the country, and we're constantly ranked as one of the fastest growing and hottest places to relocate. As Robert mentioned, I think we're feeling the same thing in all over Texas, just a huge increase in demand. So many people wanting to relocate to Texas for various reasons, politics, taxes, lifestyle. And we've just seen such an increase in demand that it's affected our inventory. And so the last year and a half has set precedents, broke records, been an exciting time for all of us. And I think what's been interesting about it is that you really have to kind of go outside the box, and similar to what Robert said with the ranch market, it's inventory's tight. You have to have someone that's extremely experienced, extremely connected, and has the network to kind of go out and find properties for you. It's not just presenting itself for you anymore. And so as much as Zillow and all these third-party apps have become very popular and buyers have more access to properties in the public, I think it's important that in markets like Texas especially, that are private states, meaning that your sales price is not public, that there's a lot of off-market deals happening, and with the low inventory more than ever, that we are having to go out and find properties for the buyers. And so buyers will come to us, and we are, take their profile and understand what their needs are, and we go out and find them and put deals together. And we have to be more creative than ever, but it's exciting times, and we're breaking records, and we're not going anywhere. I don't see the market kind of trending downwards just because the constant demand and the people continuing to move to Texas, particularly Austin, but I also think San Antonio and just the ranch market is hotter than ever. It takes us, in the experts in the market, going out and finding properties for our clients.
So that's fantastic. And like you said, demand has never been more than it is now in Austin. That's had a major effect on pricing. But tell us, if you can, you work with buyers from everywhere. I've seen you this last year work with international clients, people from East Coast, West Coast. What's the draw to Austin? Is pricing better than where they're coming from? Is it the culture in Austin? What's bringing people to Austin that you're seeing?
I think it's a little bit of everything you said. Austin it has a very likable lifestyle. We not only have the tech draw, which is a huge demand for all of the Silicon Valley and Californians trying to come and move their businesses here. So we have a huge tech influence that is bringing all the tech companies to Austin. It's the capital of Texas. We also have the University of Texas and a big medical surge. And so we have a job market that's really growing, but it's also lifestyle. It's a very laid back, healthy city that's very active, and so in some ways it's very similar to the California dream lifestyle, and so we do a lot of the Californians gravitate to Austin for that kind of similar lifestyle without the ocean. But we do have a lake that runs right in the middle of the city, several lakes, but so we do have water, but it's I think that it's just a combination of a really desirable city, a great place to raise your families, and then just so much kind of job growth and tech influence, and it's become kind of like a new influence, a new imaginative, creative town, which is really drawing kind of the next generation of thinkers and innovators, and it's really exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's just the town has maintained a bunch of its charm and history that continues to evolve as a tech center, a creative center that I think probably nobody would have ever expected it to be the way that it has. So pretty fantastic. Okay, so Benkan, tell us about San Antonio. Has seen crazy growth. You've set records in sales on Central, outside of the Loop. Tell us about the dynamics of San Antonio, what continues to make it so desirable.
Thank you, Jay, but a lot of the comments that they've made apply for San Antonio. We're not on as large of a scale as Austin, but there's a lot of opportunity in San Antonio. San Antonio is a place where it's got a small town feel, but it's still one of the largest cities in the country. I think that one of the biggest draws to San Antonio is affordability. You can get a lot of real estate and give your family a tremendous lifestyle compared to some of these other markets. So quality of life is very high. I always tell people that there is no better place, in my opinion, to raise a family than San Antonio. You've got kind of the best of all worlds. And there's still a lot of opportunity here. What I've seen is a lot of growth in people wanting to invest more and people bringing their companies here. So it's changing from just a suburb kind of city to raise your family to a place where you can really come and create a name for yourself and make a really good life for your family. Numbers in San Antonio have increased tremendously in the last year. They didn't start to increase really until 2020. The upswing kind of started, but 2021 has been crazy. What I credit that to is so many people kind of realizing that San Antonio is one of the best kept secrets in Texas. Coming here, taking up all the inventory. Now there's, again, just like you guys, there's no inventory. So you've got very little to choose from. And it's really key if you want to make the move to San Antonio or to anywhere in Texas, to find somebody that's in the know about properties. I mean, this year I've done more non-MLS private deals than I have in my whole career combined. And that's just because I know the buyers that are looking for a certain type of product. I go to a seller's house, he tells me what he's got, I see what he's got, I make a couple phone calls, put a deal together because there's 5-6 buyers ready to go for that. If you're not with somebody that really knows and has access to these, then you'll never see these properties come, you'll never see them on Zillow or any of these third-party websites, and that's why it's so important to have somebody really good.
Yeah, I think what's critical too, and maybe key for anybody watching this to know, with all three of these top tier professionals in their market, over 30% of their transactions over the last year were not listed in any public way, in a multiple listing service, or even with a lot of advertising. It was typically a connection made because of relationships that you all have. I think that's one of the mysteries of real estate sometimes for people, is they think, well, I'm gonna pour over Zillow or the internet or whichever, which is not a bad place to go. At the same time, with the way the market is now, if you don't know somebody who knows about a property intimately or the market intimately, you might miss out on an opportunity to get something special. And you guys exemplify what it means to do that. In San Antonio, have you seen anything on price adjustment that's worth noting? You know, prices have gone up, but to your point, they're still affordable. What do you see as the future for San Antonio on pricing and growth?
So I think that San Antonio, this last year especially, experienced an adjustment overall in prices. We were extremely affordable. We've always been extremely affordable, and we still are compared to these other markets. But everything from the bottom up pushed and adjusted, and it's not a bubble that we're seeing. It's just an adjustment in prices in general. Before, you would tell me, hey, I want to go find a $350,000, $400,000 home, and it was easy to do. That price point has just increased and bumped everything up all the way to the $5 million market. It's just a natural adjustment in pricing. So prices have increased. We're now kind of stabilizing. But prices are not going to go down. And what's beautiful is we were so affordable before. Even with the adjustment we've had, we still continue to be much more affordable than these other markets.
Yeah, it's very true. I think the common theme that we see when people are moving to greater San Antonio area is they want room, they want it to be affordable, but they want their quality of life to be high.
You get a lot for what you pay for, and your quality of life here is just very high.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I think something that we've probably all will cringe at is if a seller chooses to kind of go out on their own or use a resource that really isn't quality when they undersell their property. Doesn't matter if it's a ranch or a house or a vacation property. When they undersell and they don't get the maximum value, there's not much worse than that. And to Robert's point, and really to Kumar and Binkan's point, it's the level of care taken for the property when you sell it and the level of exposure. We're very proud to be part of Sotheby's International Realty and what we can do to leverage that. And I think we've proven it doesn't matter what the market is. It can be small market, rural market, major market. Everybody benefits from having the maximum amount of exposure and brand recognition. I think we certainly get that here. So as we wrap up today, I just really want to thank Robert, Kumara, and Binkan for giving us all their time. Hopefully we've been able to make buying real estate or selling real estate in Texas less intimidating or more open and welcoming to do. We would be honored to work with you if your real estate transactions bring you this way. So with that, thank you very much for giving us your time today.